I was just went out there, tried to be a bit more relaxed than I normally am. I was feeling him out. He was moving his head well. I wasn't landing that jab, but he kind of rushed forward and I got the clinch. And my base is wrestling, so I was happy to take him down. He kept working back up, but kind of giving me good positions to just take him back down until I got half guard, which I'd watched in his other fight. He's happy to settle in half guard, and that's my favourite place to work.
Do you feel him fading away at the end of that first round?
I didn't feel him fading, but my corner thought he was. I felt like I was controlling him, landing some good shots to the body, a few shots to the head, but I think I kind of zapped him from his energy, and then I was happy to just go back to my striking in the second round, and he was kind of rushing forward, and that's when I landed that uppercut.
Yeah, this question, in your boxing, how active do you want to stay in boxing and mixed martial arts?
I just did boxing. My last fight was boxing just because COVID kept cancelling my MMA fights, but I fought a former Australian champ and a two-time state champion, and the first person to finish him. And I actually got quite a few offers after that for boxing, but then I signed with the PFL, so my heart's with MMA. But if there's no MMA fights, I'll happily box.
Hey Rob, congratulations. Do you feel like that was the PFL debut that you were looking for?
I definitely wanted to finish. It probably sums up me as a fighter pretty well, that fight. So it was a good debut, yes.
I wanted to talk about your move to light heavyweight. You moved to there in 2019. What was the decision to move up?
Mainly after the release from the UFC, I was cutting a lot of weight. I didn't feel myself in my last MMA fight in the UFC at middleweight. And I took some time off after the release, and I decided I had a few kickboxing fights at like heavyweight, which was 95 kilos, and I decided it was much more comfortable for me. I was enjoying fighting a lot more, not stressing about the weight cut and killing myself like a week or two before. And the main thing was performing better, so I'm going to eat a bit more chocolate.
That's right. And then finally for me, man, just I guess talk about how frustrating it was to not get any fights during the pandemic, and just how that kind of slowed down your career, and then how you got a fight in 2021, and then you just kind of started your career again.
Obviously, like everyone, it was frustrating. Being in Tasmania was pretty good though. We had a 6-week lockdown, and apart from that, we were fine. We didn't even get COVID until this year when we opened up the borders to everyone, and then it kind of spread around. Our gym got it a few months ago. But apart from this year, we haven't had COVID down there, so we've just been living on. And I've just been focusing. I knew my time would come. I knew I'd just keep sticking with it, taking the fights I could and keep working and improving myself. So until I got the shot on a big promotion like PFL, I was ready.
Is there one name that you would like to fight next?
Not really. I haven't really looked. Honestly, someone else asked me that. If I've been looking at the other fighters, there's 10 of them. I have one fight. I don't know who I'm going to fight next, so there's no point worrying about who's next. Whoever they give me, I'm happy with here.
Cool, thank you.
Hey Rob, 5 points has massive implications moving forward with the PFL season structure. How do you feel about already starting so strong and getting 5 points in the bag?
It feels good. It feels good to get a win on the big stage and on the world stage. I lost my first 2 UFC fights against tough opponents and whatever else was going on with me at the time, so it was good to be able to actually prove myself and know this is where I belong, and I'm an elite level fighter and deserve to be fighting against the best in the world.
Last for me, the trademark stash. I'm curious where that came from. Was there any specific idea to cut it and then keep that one long, or?
My mate Cam, top fight here, and he just asked if I want to do Movember one time. I did Movember, and I liked it, and I kind of kept it ever since.
It looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Rob.
Can't hate it though, so come on. That's
Stellar performance. Ever since your fight with Adesanya, now you're on a 6-fight win streak. You went over to boxing and kickboxing. Been doing killer. I would say you're now a complete mixed martial artist. You're no longer just a wrestler, really, with some good boxing to back it up. But where would you say you're at in your career right now? And would you consider yourself a complete martial artist?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like fighting Israel was obviously extremely hard, losing and getting cut from the UFC, especially when ever since I started, my goal was to be in the UFC, and it came around. I was 11-0, kind of just was like cruising through, got there, boom, like 6 months later I was out, so it was devastating, but definitely made me a better fighter. I grew from that, I learned from that, I've trained with Izzy, and just fighting, I think, like one of the best fighters in the world kind of gives you that experience. I was definitely a beginner beginner at striking when I was in the UFC. I'd only really had a good striking coach for about a year or so before
Strong
that.
wrestler though. back
Yeah,
then,
strong
too.
wrestler, but now I feel very well rounded. I'm happily going to be knocking people out on the feet just like tonight.
And last for me, do you prefer the PFL format of point systems? Do you feel like it provides more incentives? And do you think that's a healthier way to go about the sport of MMA?
I love the fact that I know I've got another fight in 8 weeks. Don't have to wait around and not know or blow out and eat a bunch of junk food.
Not be a big enough name.
Yeah, and I love this. I love the fact that you win and you can move forward.
Yeah.
3 more fights and I'm a world champion. I don't have to talk heaps of shit. I don't have to have a huge Instagram following, any of that stuff. You know, if just you're a good fighter, you progress, which I love. Yeah.
Good luck, brother. Wish you the best
sir.
on that $1 million.
Thank you.
Rob, knowing that you have, that structure with the schedule, does that change how you prepare for these fights going forward?
I mean, means you won't have to blow out too much, but obviously one thing is like making sure you're ready for the whole 6 months and not like burning out with the training, so we'll have a little bit of time off now mentally to recover, and then I'll get back into it. Obviously I'm fit and in fight shape, so I don't have to smash yourself trying to get fight ready. You just have to keep progressing in your skills, working game plan for whoever I've got next.
So it must feel great to go out there and not have any injuries or anything like that and be ready to go right into the
It
next
feels
one.
good, it feels good, yeah.
I was going to say, Rob, your last 2 fights are at 205. Obviously, you're in the light heavyweight division this season. Is there any plans in the future of maybe going down to middleweight, or are you staying at 205 and up from now on?
Staying at 205, yeah.
Another question, top 2 pound for pound scariest Australian animals?
Animals,
Yeah.
the Tasmanian devil
Okay.
and Chris Drummond. That guy is a weirdo.
Good guys, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.